Hello folks, welcome to Angel Wallace Productions and God's Grace on Thee. And decided to go ahead and put forth another video. We'll go through chapters 4 through 6. Beginning to read chapter 4, April 17th, 1991. We're going to cover welfare, sick fare, and the Antichrist. Greetings, precious Chela Druthia. I am Sananda in service to God, Aton of light and the creation. Our subject this day is that which you once call welfare, and which is actually that which is not for the welfare of ones, but instead bind ones ever into crippled bondage of no dignity and social separation. Welfare defined as the condition of faring well, aid as money, food, or clothing given to those in need. On welfare defined as receiving aid from the government because of need. Now you ones now have within your United States of America the system of functioning called welfare state, defined as a government that assumes a large measure of responsibility for the social welfare of its citizens. Now your government, meaning you, the taxpayers, who have taken responsibility for your own welfare, are assuming financial responsibility for those and their families who find themselves unable to care financially for themselves. Do you realize that you have whole generations of family who exist in self-perceived helplessness and attachment to your social welfare system? They are trained parasites of your system because they know no other way except through crime, drugs, weapons, etc., to care for themselves. The parents are dependent. They teach their children this same dependency as well as lack of dignity and personal responsibility. These ones have not hope because they do not know that they have the power within to change their circumstance. They choose instead to remain as outcasts, angry and blaming of the system which robs them of their human dignity, yet helpless, they feel, to change it. And most of these ones feel no one cares about them, and rightly so. A government which operates on social welfare system assumes responsibility where it has no business assuming same. You're being programmed for helpless, non-thinking slavery, and that is why I call your welfare sick fare, because it spreads a cancer of helpless apathy that destroys the dignity of the human and of your once great and free nation. This thread is woven into a web of paralyzing apathy by many in your so-called Christian churches. You undoubtedly have heard the phrase, God will provide, spoken quite loosely from the mouths of those so-called Christian ones. The so-called Christian leaders most often say this is a very patronizing way to one who has social and financial misfortune. And soon this follower of what is human, religious, deceptive doctrine will soon tell himself God will provide as he awaits in line for his welfare check or asks for assistance from his family or friends. I say this, God does provide. And the catch in this one, God helps those who help themselves. This means, precious ones, that you must use your God-given reasoning minds. Ask for guidance. Take personal responsibility and do something to wean yourself off of the poison breast of welfare sick fare. God, Aton, has gifted each one of you with abilities to care for yourselves when you take personal responsibility and are in His service. So, whose service are you in when you become a victim of social welfare? Big brother, take care of me. I cannot take care of myself. Mentality? I hear the protests now. How can we expect ones who only know the system of welfare to just break free of it? I hear the protest now. How can we expect those who only know the system of welfare to just break free of it? Is it not wiser to break free from this illusion of bondage to the system's sick fare while it is still your choice to do so? So what I am preparing you for, precious ones, is that there will be a time coming, sooner than you think, in which your government will not have the funds for welfare recipients of any and all kinds. Your government is bankrupt financially, and it has been planned this way, as you must know if you have been carefully studying Commander Hatton's message within the Phoenix Journals. The beast, which operates and controls your government and your media, has conditioned you once to dependency. You make more compliant slaves that way. Now, most of you would not know how to feed yourselves if you did not have functioning and operational grocery stores. It is time that each one of you, whether you are a welfare recipient or simply a person working for some company within the system, really think about where your personal weaknesses are as far as true, autonomous, self-governing, independence, and self-sufficiency goes. You will each need to consider your own weaknesses, that you may then strengthen yourselves in those areas which keep you in bondage of what is in actuality blatant communism, which the elite are now calling democracy, defined as a form of government in which political power resides in all the people and is exercised by them directly or is given to representatives. A state so governed. The spirit or practice of political, legal, or social equality. The problem with this term democracy, as they mean it, is that it is equality of the elite to maintain tight control over the masses for their own means, and equality of all you slaves, to have no rights except those that they, the tyrants, wish to grant you. And what you actually want to be able to call your government as free and autonomous individuals is a republic, defined as a state in which the sovereignty resides in the people, and the legislative and administrative powers are lodged in the officers elected by them. Your government now is a ridiculous joke in that you, the people, elect no one, and the powers of operation are currently out of your control, unless, of course, enough of you are willing to demand adherence to your Constitution and Bill of Rights and take back your power of autonomous sovereignty as a republic for and by the people, a nation under God. I, Sananda, and my brothers of light who are with me, Lord Michael, Saint Germain, Commander Hatton, and all the others who served unnamed, and our Divine Father Aton, wishes only to express upon you that although your self-created circumstances are quite serious, you can still change them if only you will recognize your personal responsibility and power that rests within you, each of you. I honor one WB, who has struggled as a true patriot of freedom and one who serves our Father God Aton. He has thought of an excellent idea for successfully reaching your so-called elected politically representatives. He calls his plan Adopt a Legislator. Most ingenious this plan is. Ones will more or less adopt one or more of the congressmen, senators, and other representatives of their state and literally make their voices heard loudly and frequently. You see, not all are evil within the system. If one has an ounce of consciousness of duty left within them, they can be turned about and out of the hands of evil, if they know you, the people, care enough and will support them all the way. God blesses you, precious WB, and his light shines ever with thee. Many of you by now may be wondering if I'm telling you not to support those ones who have become self-trapped through ignorance and apathy within the system of what is termed welfare, and which is actually sick fare. I'm telling you that you support their bondage by continually supporting through your illegal taxes and social welfare. Will you help a homeless person or family when the opportunity is before you? Of course you will. But not by taking away their dignity and feeding their perceived helpless belief, because you will instead practice something along the lines of workfare, wherein after you fill their hungry tummies, you help those self-unfortunate ones help themselves. This is not a new term. Workfare. Many have tried to adopt this type of program with your current bloated and corrupted system, mostly without success. And those of you who have been prudent and have done your homework in establishing autonomous self-sufficiency have not done so only for yourselves and your families. Many of you who have the ability have provided for more than the needs of your family. Your best survival in the probable times ahead of financial dispersion and uncertainty will be community effort, neighbor assisting neighbor, barter and sharing of resources, skills, and duties. This is why Commander Hatton and many others on your plane have stressed the importance of small town location of living circumstance. With fewer people and the developed self-sufficiency of the most of these, you will be able to function in relative comfort compared to those who find themselves on the streets of large metropolitan cities. It is time that you ones begin to learn about and practice true community, that you will develop a bond of commitment to each other and therefore to God. Community defined as a group of people living together in the same locality and having common customs, interests, etc. The district in which you live, people having specified interests in common, the scientific community, the German-American community, the public society in general, common ownership or participation. This community, called Tejas Shape, Valley of Radiance, is the model one chosen to be leader in establishing business with integrity, which is directly in service to God. Many other such communities are beginning and will form as well. Tehachapi, as it is called currently, has the quiet and honored distinction of being chosen by God to be the model to represent a balanced circle of sovereign, self-sufficient individuals who cooperate and operate as a team of those who support and live according to the laws of God and the creation. A commune, on the other hand, is defined as a group of persons not forming a single family, having a home or land in common. This usually means home, land, and bed in common as well. This is why these ones, sovereign individuals working to get the word out, are not called a group or commune. They're individual ones with a common interest in truth who work together as a God team to assist you, their brethren, through dissemination of the word back into godly balance and behavior. I do trust this is clear. So be it. I am Sananda, one with God. I bless you ones and honor your courage to stand for truth. Thank you, precious Drithea, for your humble service and dedication. God is ever with thee, Chela. Peace be with you. Salut. Chapter 5, April 18th, 1991. Insurance, non-assurance, and the Antichrist. Greetings, precious Chela Drithea. I am Sananda. I come in service with my brothers of light, in service to God Aton, our holy divine creator and the creation. Our little sister has inquired about why I am discussing such things as Santa Claus, welfare, and insurance, and what these things have to do with spiritual teachings. She no longer has the question for herself, but I will now give further clarity to you ones who have questioned in a similar way. Do you remember we have spent the contents of an entire book, the Phoenix Operator Owner Manual, defining what is the Antichrist within, the deadly sins, and most importantly, the laws of God and creation that all must adhere to in order to bring back and maintain balance? And has not Commander Hatton, through his beloved Secretary Dharma, written some 25 volumes about the manifestation physically of anti-God within your political, social, economic, and religious institutions upon this plane? Where you think this outward manifestation of evil has come from and been allowed to continue as an insidious disease of rapidly destructive cancer upon your plane. This outward corruption, exists within you ones first in order to be created in perception outside of your beings. You ones have allowed and nurtured the beast within you so that you have now manifested the near destruction of your species and your beloved planet. My intention, as well as the intention of our brother Hatan, as it has been requested of God, Aton, our Creator, by you ones, ask and it is given, is to one by one show you the evil that exists within most of your cultural institutions, which you simply have taken for granted as acceptable without thinking about it carefully. Well, now is the time that all that does not work in accordance and balance within the cosmic laws of God and the creation will be exposed for the evil fraud of material bondage it supports. All evil will fall into the ashes of self-destruction and be recognized for the illusion of deceptive lies and smokescreen they are. This is why God's return has as his symbol the phoenix, which represents the evil being consumed by itself and the rebirth of godliness upon your plane. For you ones are determined to conquer evil within and without. I and my brothers of light are come to peel away the illusions which have kept you gagged and bound in separation from your divine holy heritage of oneness with all. And what will be left when you're all peeled of evil illusions? God, precious ones, your immortal soul, as a fragment of the one, is the only real and sacred treasure of truth. And by the will of God within you, it will be freed from the bondage of the material plane. Now, I will return to our subject at hand, insurance, non-assurance, and the Antichrist. First, let us define insurance. Financial protection against risk, loss, or ruin, guaranteed by a person or company in return for the payment of premiums. Also, the business of providing this protection. Any safeguard against risk or harm. Let us also define assure and assurance. To make sure or secure, establish firmly. To make something certain, guarantee. To cause to feel certain, convince. To promise, to ensure as against loss. Assurance, the act of assuring, or the state of being assured. Self-confidence, boldness. Well, it seems that you ones have done quite a thorough job in covering up your fears of possible future physical manifested disasters. You just pay someone called an insurance company, a fee which they calculate to ensure them the least loss and the highest possible profit. And they will arrest your fear of loss. Of course, first you have set up the costs of replacement of those material items, such as a home or a car or medical care, to such extreme that most could not afford to tend of themselves without an insurance policy. So am I saying it is wrong within the structure of your current society to not have insurance if you are able to afford the same? Not at all. What I am suggesting to you ones, though, is that this system of insurance is supporting fear and your perceived inability to manifest positive balance on your own. So as with welfare from your government, insurance companies are failing as well. And there is coming in probability a time when your insurance company will not have the funds to pay your claim. And the whole theory structure of insurance is based on a group or company offering a guarantee through a pool of what is termed premiums paid by a large number of participants against the possible loss from possible future circumstances, which in itself assumes they are possible circumstances which you have no control over. The insurance company or group has created through mathematic statistics that it's gathered what is termed actuary tables, which are designed specifically to limit the risk to the insurance company by defining and categorizing risks, such as in life insurance, the age and the sex of the individual, as well as such details as where he lives and works is computed into the risk factor. Now, up until a few years ago, most of the major insurance companies, especially those selling whole life insurance policies with cash value rather than term insurance policies, which are generally less expensive to the consumer, were quite profitable. Why? Because they received much more in premiums from many individuals, families, and businesses than they were required to pay back for claims. Now, because most of the insurance companies invested their profits in things such as real estate and the stock market, most of these have incurred tremendous losses because of investments which went bad for a variety of reasons, primarily involving the failing of many businesses, a decline in real estate value and sales, your tremendous government debt, and general loss of confidence within your business and government structure, of which most of you are aware. So, what this obviously means is that, as I said earlier, you will, in all probability, not be able to collect on any claims because your insurance company most likely will fail and therefore not have the funds to pay you. Now, what is really wrong with this human institution called insurance as it relates to you ones who wish only to reclaim your God of light, power, and freedom? Simply this: it supports your fear of what you perceive as the unknown possibilities which could occur, which would cause you some sort of loss, usually of objects. Do you remember what we have discussed within the journal, the Phoenix Operator Owner Manual, about how future fear orientation of focus robs you of positive manifesting in your now time? And also about how you each have within you the responsibility of creating all within your illusion. Please reread that journal if you are now still confused. Insurance, which offers human guarantee against possible loss, which you create yourself, is a guarantee to keep you powerless and irresponsible for your manifested creations and experiences. The only insurance or assurance you have is that, through the grace of your Creator God, Aton, you have been gifted with a wondrous immortal soul and reasoning ability, which contains all key ingredients for unlimited spiritual creative potential, and which exists as a fragment of God, Aton, and the one all that is. Precious Chelas, what more guarantee do you need? When you feel you must have insurance, say it in case of a fire in your house. Are you not supporting your own fear of this possibility and your belief that you cannot create more balanced circumstances for yourself? You create it all, every circumstance. What do you think happens when you're able to place your will into God's will? Your unlimited creative potential begins to fly within the realms of realization and fulfillment within you. You become conscious co-creator within the universe. Your insurance is God's grace and the spirit of life, which is within you. Now, am I suggesting that you today cancel all insurance? Of course not. In fact, you would likely have extreme difficulty because many types of insurance such as what is termed title insurance on a home and liability insurance on your car, is built into your system as mandatory insurance by either the U.S. government or the state in which you reside. And really the intent of some of the ones who have legislated in mandatory enforcement of such type of insurance as liability did so because of what they observed as the refusal of many ones to be responsible on their own for what you term accidents occurring by the drivers of these vehicles. Of course, by now you know there are no accidents. All parties created the circumstance and have responsibility for the lessons and accountability for any errors in judgment. What I am suggesting is that you really think now why you do the things you do. Why, for example, do you feel the need to buy insurance when it is your choice for future possibility of loss? I know, peace of mind, right? Why do you fear so much any material loss? Are you still so attached to your material possessions? Can you not recreate all that you need by the power of God within you? Of course you can. You have simply forgotten how. So let us call human insurance a limitation which may give you peace of mind while you are attached to this plane. But it is not necessary when you graduate to the fourth dimension or higher realms of godly existence. There, of course, are several ways to think of insurance besides that which you formerly purchased through an insurance company. For example, you have been guided throughout the Phoenix Journals to do various forms of preparations for protection against the probable and known changes involving the transformation of yourselves and your planet. This is what I will call intelligent insurance, in that you ones have made preparations such as for food, clothing, and are doing so to remain relatively comfortable within your service to God upon this physical plane as you assist the transformation process. You're still physical beings existing within the perceived limitations or your plane. Your bodies, you perceive, need nurturing with physical food and clothing, while we of the hosts give nurturing of your spiritual knowledge and power within, and documentation of your already created physical circumstance. We must therefore work with you, our brethren who are committed to serve God, in a balance of recognizing and respecting the limitations of your plane, and yet still stretching your awareness above that which is your perceived created physical limitations. Now, this is one of our most important challenges, and one which I, and especially our beloved brother Commander Hatton, constantly endeavor for to reach and spark that awakening within the most of you in the quickest and most effective way possible. Now, what is the difference between positive, intelligent insurance and limited, fear-supporting insurance? Intelligent insurance means taking responsibility for that which you have already manifested and known probable occurrences, and also recognition of your and your planet's transformation process and your role in service to God in assisting with this process of transformation by taking action to expose and cast out the evil, and then also create the balance which is of God by adhering to his laws and those of the creation. Now, limited fear supporting insurance denies your positive creating abilities and supports apathy toward taking responsibility for all you create. It also is based upon your fear of loss of some material object, your life, or fear of possible illness, and the inability to pay for treatment. Do you now understand the difference? Now, I recognize that at first, when the knowledge or the truth of your mostly created evil circumstances are presented to you and have made an impact upon you, that for a time you ones most often respond with fear. Many of you even remain fearful for a period of time until assimilation of the material and recognition and activation of responsibility and personal power occurs. You will find, though, that as you begin to make your sincere efforts to connect in service to God and thus receive guidance for your purpose, and make the necessary changes and preparations within and without, your fear will fade and eventually will vanish as you further your spiritual awakening within. Now, let us discuss life insurance a bit more. Now, generally, one such as the head of the household, the breadwinner, or the financial supporter of the family is the one who feels inclined to buy insurance in case he is unexpectedly killed. Then his family will receive a sum to care for their expenses of day-to-day living. For many in your times, this is most notable effort in that the financial supporting one knows that most likely hardship would befall his family if he were suddenly no longer there for the support of them. Let us just say that instead of buying life insurance, this one and his family made themselves self-sufficient and paid for all possessions, including their home completely, as they had the resources available to do so. Also, this one set aside funds for any such emergencies, enough until the others left in the household and could reestablish financial independence. In addition, these ones wisely followed the suggestions for protection of their unencumbered assets and privacy provided within such Phoenix journals as Privacy in a Fishbowl. And you can slay the dragon. And let us say in addition, these ones chose a community in which their neighbors, friends, and possibly other family members pitched in to care for ones when disaster or loss of life occurred. For example, you have ones deeply religious, and in spite of this, very much a community and brotherhood of commitment to each other. They set a fine example in this respect. They call themselves Amish, Protestant Christian, named after founder Jacob Ammon, and which is a sect of the ones called Mennonites. Have you heard of these precious ones who dwell in your northeastern states, primarily Pennsylvania? There are also ones who call themselves Mennonites, from where the Amish sect came, named after one called Menno Simons, a leader of this sect, who lived from 1492 until 1559. Now, both of these religious sects oppose the taking of oaths, the holding of public office, and military service. They are primarily farmers, and they, especially the Amish, use very few of your modern conveniences such as autos, washing machines, and dishwashers, and even telephones. They are ones who, as a whole, within your country, live the most in balance with nature at the current time in your history. They have established themselves as a whole, essentially as a self-sufficient, autonomous, and sovereign community, in the true sense of what community represents. By this commitment to brother assisting brother, they themselves have reaped the benefits of a built-in security, or the individuals within their community as part of the whole. Now, I make no projection about their being spiritual perfection because their beliefs are as fraught with limitation as most all of the other so-called Christian and other faiths. Remember, it is not how you label yourself religiously in human belief structure. It is how you think and are in your heart, and what you do, which is judged by self when you stand naked before God, Aton. Very simply, you once could learn much about community by observing the living style of these precious ones, who are for the most part strictly observe the laws of God as they have been indoctrinated about them. They, like many other Christian sects, still see God as outside of their beings, and they also have other perceived limitations within their belief structure. I trust I made my points clear regarding the benefits of understanding and thus living within the divine structure of what is true community, within the laws of God and the creation. So be it. Now, we will discuss a bit about what is termed medical and dental types of insurance. You have what is termed a government taxpayer-supported medical insurance program for those who cannot afford insurance, as well as the elderly. I believe it is called Medicaid. Again, there is in all probability coming a time when there will be no funds to support these giveaway programs. Yet, do you notice that medical and dental expenses charged by doctors, dentists, and hospitals keep rising? These expenses are already beyond the reach of the average American who does not have insurance. So what do you do in the meantime? With the knowledge that your insurance company may go bankrupt, this leaves many of you ones in quandary. Many of you are yet learning about your power to keep yourselves healthy. And when in service to God, most of you will avoid major illnesses or accidents. Many of you are exploiting alternative natural and what is termed homeopathic. It's a system of therapy using minute doses of medicines that produce the symptoms of the disease treated. Forms of treatment, as well as exploring and practicing more preventative types of self-treatment, such as a healthier diet, exercise, and nourishing supplements. These are wonderful things you can do in physical format to take responsibility for maintaining your health. Always keep in mind, though, precious ones, that you create your disease and illness. And the power of prevention and even cures thereof rests primarily within your wonderful God-created minds. Now, I would say that logically, while your system is in the process of crumbling, that you ones will discover new ways which are relatively inexpensive for treatment of various illnesses and ailments. In the meantime, you each who can still afford medical or dental insurance must decide for yourselves how much longer are you willing to risk your premiums within the false security which is still supported by insurance companies, which may soon cease to be. Eventually, all of you will find that you no longer need any form of human medical insurance because you will become firmly sustained in your power of your spirit within of God, ASHTAR, to maintain your wellness and provide you any and all assistance necessary for your self-created physical care needs. As for the other types of insurance which are mandatory, such as auto, liability, and title insurance for home purchases, you ones really haven't got any choice if you wish to have the privilege of owning a home and car, unless you change your laws governing the same. Your system has these built-in laws now, such as is the case with property taxes, which really have limited your freedoms and rights, which were carefully stipulated within your original Constitution and Bill of Rights. Such is the nature of the created and allowed beast, the Antichrist, as it weaves its insidious web of destruction, control over you ones, ever more tightly in its desire to suffocate the spirit of life of God, ASHTAR, within you. I trust that you ones now have plenty more to ponder carefully concerning your individual circumstance. And may the power of the light and truth, which is of God, ASHTAR, within the creation, rest easily within your beings. Bless you, precious ones, as I have come to bring you, the faithful and true, home to God, ASHTAR, in oneness with all. So be it. I am Sananda, one with God. Salut. Chapter 6, April 22nd, 1991. What is workfare? Greetings, precious Cheladrithea. We are Sananda, Lord Michael, and Saint Germain. We come in the service of your holy divine Father, God ASHTAR, and in service, therefore, to you, our brethren. We are most grateful for the inquiry of one DK. We are beginning to see the flicker from the spark of awakening which is occurring within you ones. We now wish to gently but firmly kindle this spark of understanding before the winds of the adversary extinguish this growing flame. DK's question was this: Are there any books in print that work out that idea of workfare? Well, precious ones, perhaps it will be you who will write it. I, Sananda, had said previously within the document, Welfare, Sickfare, and the Antichrist, that the concept of what I termed workfare is not a new one. There are individuals and some groups who have attempted to accomplish this sort of program, and some practice it to some extent, although they may not label it such. Let me give a simple definition of what workfare means, but I will first define welfare. Welfare is money and food given to those who profess need because of the inability, or more commonly unwillingness, to take responsibility for the care of themselves. They need not do anything to earn same, except apply with their local welfare office and have no assets, or at least a limitation as to what assets they have, such as a car. Now, we will explain the concept of workfare that you ones can begin your own research and use your own God-given ingenuity to develop and implement workfare when the opportunity comes. Workfare works something like this. Ones have no job or food and come to you, who have a farm and do need assistance. You would offer them food and a place to stay in exchange for their work assisting you where you need it. Now, if you're able to pay something in addition, you will do so. You do not just support irresponsible behavior patterns by giving away that which you have worked for to ones who are unwilling to do themselves. I will give you a couple hints. Inquire of your grandparents and others who lived through the Depression of the 1930s and the war following. And you will find that at that time, what is termed work ethic was taught as necessary for survival. In small towns, neighbor helped neighbor. There was a true relative community effort so that most who were physically able to participate in helping the whole maintain survival. There was cohesion of unity that existed, which has since faded with the programming of the self-centered me generation, which have followed. Also, check with your local government. Inquire about whether such a program has ever been introduced within Social Services Office. For example, if so, find if they will allow you to have access to the information research purposes. This will give you ones a start. Now, you will notice I did not say ones will go to the government for welfare handouts. Why? Because it is simply time you ones understand that very soon you will likely not have enough government handouts for all who come begging, and for those of who sits as mugwumps upon the fence of indecision, who still remain firmly tied within the system as it is now. You will not have to worry about the application of workfare for others, because you will be the one of the ones out on the streets of desperation and despair. Precious chelas, we of the hosts are preparing you for a time when you will be needing to apply alternatives to that which you have been taught. Your system, your cultural institutions as you now know them, are falling into the ashes, and who you hang to the old will fall as well. The Antichrist, which now exists within nearly all human systems upon your plane, is trying to pull as many of you into perceived helplessness, apathy, and eventually desperation, that you will remain a slave to and fall with it into the void of ignorant, unconscious darkness, and during the same time, God reclaims those who are or have chosen to become his faithful and true. We would ask of you ones, what possibilities can you create within God's law which implement this concept of workfare? We welcome the sharing of ideas with our other readers of the Phoenix Journals. Do you see? We do a disservice to you ones if we do all your thinking for you. Haven't you already had quite enough of being told by those of human format how you must think or not think, as the case may actually be. You must grow up, chelas. It is graduation, liberation time, remember? The Spirit of God knowledge rests within each one who wishes only to serve in honor and in balance the will of God, Aton. Ask God, Aton, within you to show you that which you need in order to serve His will. Ask and you will receive your guidance and your answers. Then, of course, it is up to you to do what you are guided to do. So be it. Now, we will suggest, though, that the first thing each and every one of you must do, free yourselves from any and all dependency upon the system. We cannot stress this enough. You either do so now by choice, or you will be forced by your addiction to dependency and the fall of your system into inability to survive. You won't need to consider such things as workfare if you do not have sovereignty and autonomy very soon. We trust that we have adequately explained the severity of your circumstances and the necessity to act now in preparation to maintain yourself within God's light and service. Leisure, retirement, and the Antichrist. Now, while we have your attention, let us discuss what is termed on your plane as leisure, defined as freedom from the demands of work or duty, time available for recreation or relaxation. At leisure, free from pressing obligation, unoccupied, not employed. Now we will define retirement: to retire, to go away or withdraw, as for privacy, shelter, or rest. To go to bed, to withdraw oneself from business, public life, or active service. Retired, withdrawn from public view, solitary, secluded, a retired life, withdrawn from active service, business, office, etc. Now, both of these terms imply a chosen state of non-activity in regard to that which you ones have termed as work or production orientation. Now, there are other, of course, various ways in which you ones define and utilize your leisure time. Some of you consider that playing a game or sport such as bridge, baseball, or golf is how you will spend your non-productive work time. Now, this would be termed active leisure in that you are doing something neither physically and or mentally stimulating, which you do for fun or enjoyment. Now, others of you will consider leisure to be watching television or going to a movie, taking a nap, or lying in the sun, which we would term passive leisure, in that you are seeking entertainment or relaxation in which you need do nothing except be entertained or sleep. And ones who are addicted to doing nothing or non-thinking, we will call leisure lizards. No offense to the bounteous creatures called lizards, of course. Now, we are not saying that these leisure activities or non-activities are necessarily evil. The point we're making is that most of you have stifled your creative potential within by choosing work, which you can't wait to be done with so that you can go leisure yourselves in self-indulgent apathy and pleasure-seeking. Now, are we saying it is wrong to do things besides work which you enjoy, or to simply relax when you are tired and stressed? Not at all. But you ones have been programmed to become addicted to non-productive leisure because many of you choose work which is unfulfilling simply because you wish to make more money so that you can hopefully retire early and withdraw from societal productivity. Of course, the elite have definitely encouraged this sort of non-thinking, leisure, retirement orientation. And ones who have become retired will say such things as, I've worked hard to have this freedom to play, or I've paid my dues and I've earned this retirement. All right, precious ones. Only how can you continue to play golf and travel while your world crumbles around your feet? Having fun has become the great American pastime. This is a multi-billion-dollar distraction business of keeping you apathetic toward illegal and treasonous government policies, totally preoccupied with self-centered pleasure seeking and fast asleep while your freedom is slowly stolen from you. And you ones are now working to enjoy leisure and toward your retirement will have quite a rude awakening when your constitution is gone and the New World Order is completely in place. The only work you, who survive physically, will be doing for your bare survival will be for the anti-God which rules your governments. And the term leisure and retirement will remain only in your dreams as you agonizingly long for your freedom, and it is lost. Ponder this carefully, precious ones. The time is now to bring back and maintain your freedoms under your original constitution. You ones no longer have time to play and be productive. Your brothers and sisters who are already in service to God and to humanity need your help to change the circumstances now falling in upon you. Wake up, retired people of America. Your grandchildren need your support if they are to have life and freedom. Will you assist them, their future in God? Or will you simply close your eyes, think only of your earned retirement, and go back to your golf game? God, Aton, awaits your decision. When you unfold these gifts of God which you have within to serve His will, which involves serving your brethren, you will write retirement out of your vocabulary. You will have access by your desire to serve God, your spiritual, creative potential within. You will become most fulfilled in your service, and although you may require leisure time for communion, you will have access by your desire to serve God, your spiritual, creative potential within. And you will become most fulfilled in your service. And although you may require leisure time for communion and enjoyment of God's gift upon this creation, you will return to your work or service with joy. Now we know for many of you this seems as only an ideal. Now it may seem so. Only remember this. When you align your being in service to God, Aton, not only do you become creatively fulfilled, you become a responsible, conscious co-creator of life of God. And that is fact, precious ones. You need only remember, and then will life begin for you. One more thought. Many ones, when they begin their service, find that they are surprised by or not satisfied with that which they are given to do initially. God often first tests that which you are willing to do for His service. Every job of assisting God's will, for example, in getting the word out, is important. You who are able to volunteer and do so willingly without expectation are most blessed indeed. And you who willingly do the daily tasks which must be done without complaining and seeking a greener pasture are too most blessed. But you who are given a task and serve grudgingly until something better comes up need to carefully ponder whose will you are serving. We suggest you not limit that which God within is unfolding, for you ones must stand upon your own 2 feet with honor and integrity and unity, and stop the petty games and hypocritical words and actions, or you will cast yourself out of God's service and therefore out of God's kingdom. So be it. May these words bring clarity and understanding of truth to you, precious chelas, that you become each empowered with wisdom and knowledge of that which is your gifts of God for humanity. We honor you and God blesses you, each one. Thank you, precious Druthea, for your service. God holds you safely within His wings of love and truth and protection. We are Sananda, Lord Michael, and Saint Germain, your hosts, sent of and in service to God, Aton, and the creation. Salut. And we have finished now chapters 1 through 6 when you finish this video. And we see it, we know it. But what are we going to do about it? We try to do the best that we can in selecting people that are going to represent us. But as we find, we have people that go in with good hearts only to have either been coerced, compromised, or their ego has taken over and they simply will do what their ego notions want, not what's good for the people. Okay, folks, I love you all. I hope you all understand what this reading is bringing to you. It's not easy, I know. It's not easy. It's not easy for me either. But it's something that we have to work on a daily basis. That's what I try to do. And believe me, there are times when I fall. And I fall hard. And I'm ashamed of myself afterwards. But I have to go back to God, repent, and continue. Just continue on with determination and strength that God has provided me. Every day I ask Hilarion. She's the healer, remember? I ask her to come and help me and teach me how to heal myself. And every day I feel better and better. And I won't quit. Because I know that we have the power to heal ourselves. The closer we stay with God, and if we ask for everything that we need, not to be greedy, okay? Because for Him, it's as simple as having a roof over your head, clothes on your back, and food in your mouth. Those are the basic essentials. And your health is how you handle yourself, your body. What you take, what you ingest, what you inhale, okay? Those are the things that we need to work on. I know I do. I have a lot yet to work on for myself. And I'm an old geezer. But that doesn't mean I'm ever going to quit, because I won't. That's just something I can't do. I've come too far. I don't want to look back. There's nothing back here for me. There's nothing in this world that's even desirable anymore. It's all a burden. Okay, if you want something of material, then you have to have either the money for it, or you have to work for it, or you have to make payments. That's a burden. It's a burden I don't want to be a part of anymore. And it's not easy, but it can be done. It's within our own selves and what you desire and how you want to move forward. And as He's telling us as a collective, if we're all embracing God, things will change. But it's getting the rest of those people to look to God, right? That's the struggle. That's what we're going through right now with this Great Awakening. That's why it's so important. So, no fear, okay? Get rid of the fear. And if you still have a problem with it, you're not talking to God. You're not asking Him. Because if you ask, He's going to help you out. I guarantee that. I guarantee it. He's never failed. And you think that I would be so polished enough that I would be with Him as one. But I'm not there yet. Okay? I'm not there yet. And, but it's something that I work towards every day of my life. Okay, folks, share your smile. Do something kind for someone that you don't know, because they're our brothers and sisters, and we all need a hand up. And be sure and hug those that you love, because life is short. Love you. See you. Bye.